We are. So they may be having issues on their end.
Yeah.
I just resent them the link to join.
I just got a voicemail here too. I'm gonna mute and see if that's my applicant.
Okay. I know we're running just a little bit late. If there is anybody watching the video, we'll start the hearing in just a minute. We're checking to see if the applicant is joining us.
And I do have all the tech ready to go. So whenever you're ready to start, if they're here, I'm ready for it. So
Okay. So please save your breath. You're sounding like you could use the rest.
I sound a lot worse than I am. But
Oh, good.
yeah, I've been basically in bed or on the couch for the last 5 days. So
I had a bout of that while I was on vacation, which is not the right time to do it.
yeah.
Oh, I wonder if Aaron is having any luck. Aaron, should we go ahead and start the hearing?
Hey, Jim, sorry for the delay. Yeah, I just got off the phone with them. So they should have the link and they should be showing up here just in a second.
Okay, let's just wait for him. Ah, there we go. We
Yeah, I
can
think that's them.
see you, but I think you're muted.
I just
Hi.
unmuted us.
Hi,
There it
Jim.
is.
This is Susan Houston and Karen Hayes, and we have you on two screens, but I think this is the best one with sound.
Okay, very good. What we're going to do is, since you've joined us, we'll go ahead and run through. We've got some procedural things to do. Let you know how we're going to run this. I don't think that we have anybody else signed up besides you.
We have Randy Foltz is here with us.
Okay.
Do you need to see him?
If he's going to talk later, then he can come in at that point, and that'd be.
Okay. Do you want to say hi, Randy?
Hi.
That's
Hi,
Randy.
hi, Randy.
Hi, Aaron. Thank you.
Okay, so it is now 5:36 p.m. Apple Standard Time. My name is Jim Brewer. I'm the hearings officer for the city of Salem. The hearing tonight's going to be conducted virtually. We haven't had anybody sign up besides the applicant, and people needed to sign up before 3 p.m. to be able to participate. The order of tonight's proceeding is going to be a staff report to be presented by Aaron Panko. Then whatever the applicant would like to do, we'll limit that to 15 minutes. I don't believe that we're going to have any neighborhood report, and we won't have any testimony because nobody else signed in before 3 p.m. When you get your opportunity as the applicant to talk, what we'd like you to do is to give your name and address so the recording picks it up. Because there won't be other people speaking in opposition, there won't be an opportunity for rebuttal. At the time that we're done, I may have some questions of you or of staff. At that point, we'd close the public hearing. I'll want to walk you through the applicable criteria, although Aaron, you're going to go through them all in your presentation.
I'll do an overview of what was presented in the staff report.
Okay, very good. So it's important to pay attention to those criteria. Testimony and evidence for the public hearing really should be directed towards these because that's what I'm going to be able to make the decision on. This is a Class 2 Willamette Greenway permit, tentative replat at 1887 Water Street Northeast, Salem, Oregon 97301. I want to remind you as the applicant that failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the city or other parties the opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal to the State Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. So if there's something that we've missed or that you want to talk about, this is the time and place to do it, or you may not be able to later. And failure of the applicant to raise constitutional or other issues related to the proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the local government or its designee to respond to the issue precludes an action for damages in circuit court. So if there's a problem with a condition of approval, this is the time to raise that, or you may not be able to later. Do you have any objections on jurisdictional grounds, meaning that this isn't the sort of thing that's supposed to come before the hearings officer? I'm not seeing any.
Are you asking me, Susan Houston, or Randy Foltz?
Yes.
Both.
Yeah, either one. If there's an objection, this is the time to raise it. And if not, then we'll move on.
No, I don't think anyone does.
Okay. So this is WGP-REP 22-02, 1887 Water Street Northeast. We have the staff report, Aaron.
Sure do. Good evening. My name's Aaron Panko with the Planning Division. Let me share my screen here. Are you able to see that?
Yeah.
Great. At this time, so this is a Class 2 Willamette Greenway development permit and tentative replat. It's case number WGP REP 2202 for 1887 to 1899 Water Street Northeast. I would like to enter into the record the staff report, including its attachments and this presentation.
And they will be so entered. Thank you.
So this is a vicinity map of the property. The property is approximately 0.74 acres in size, and it's within the urban service area. It has frontage along Water Street Northeast, which is designated as a local street, just to the east of the property. And on the west side, it has frontage along the Willamette River. And let's see some nearby streets. So Front Street is the main arterial street that provides access. So this is a vicinity map of the zoning map for the property that was applicable at the time that the application was submitted. The subject property was zoned IC, industrial commercial. It's represented by the purple shading on the map. And the surrounding property owners to the north, south, and east also share that IC industrial commercial designation. This is the current zoning map for the property following the R Salem zone changes that took effect in August of this year. The subject property is now zoned MUR, mixed use riverfront. For family uses, such as what's proposed, are permitted in the MUR zone. However, development that's exclusively residential is required to meet a minimum density of 15 dwelling units per acre. Given the size of the property, a minimum of 11 units are required. So the proposed development would not comply with the development standards under the new MUR zone. However, under state law, approval or denial of the application is based upon the standards and criteria that were applicable at the time that the application was first submitted. So this application was reviewed under the IC zone standards. And this is an aerial photo of the property. The property is currently vacant. There was for a long time a duplex built right up to Water Street. It was removed from the property several years ago. To the north, there is a section of public right-of-way for Academy Street. Now, Academy Street isn't developed in the portion just to the north. This is vacant and may not be developed for streets, but could be used for other pedestrian or bike activities in the future. Let's see, across the street on Water Street is single family dwellings, and same to the south. So it is in a largely residential neighborhood. And let's see, this slide helps show the Willamette River, or the Willamette River compatibility review boundary. So it's outlined here in the green. So the actual Willamette Greenway boundary does extend quite a ways further, all the way to Front Street. So this property is both within the Greenway boundary and the compatibility review boundary. And this is a photo. It's taken from Water Street looking towards the property. Again, the property has been, the duplex on there has been removed. So you'll see some vegetation here in the foreground. And this one is taken kind of on the north side of Water looking south. Now, later on in my presentation, I'll talk about public testimony. We didn't receive any written comments during the public comment period, and we didn't receive testimony from the Highland Neighborhood Association, but we did receive a few phone calls from neighbors in the area. And the questions for staff were regarding the current condition of Water Street. So you can see from the photo here that Water Street is under improved. It doesn't meet current city standards, doesn't have curbing, doesn't have sidewalk, street lights, or street trees. So with a development application like this, the city looks at the number of new trips that are generated. And if it exceeds a certain threshold, the city can require boundary street improvements. In this case, with the proposed duplex, with the two new residential units added on top of the previous, the property currently had the duplex in there in the past. It didn't generate enough new trips to warrant improvements to Water Street. So for the Willamette Greenway permit, the purpose of this process and review is to protect and enhance the natural, scenic, recreational, historical, and economic resources of the Willamette River and implement the goals and policies of the Salem Area Comprehensive Plan, the Willamette Greenway Plan, and Goal 15 of its statewide planning goals. So this slide here shows the proposed layout for the site. So we have 2 duplexes, total of 4 dwelling units. You can see the edge of the Greenway boundary, the riparian buffer that the applicant is providing. So they are outside of the riparian area. There's no native vegetation or trees in this area that would need to be removed in order to accommodate the development here. See, to address the development standards of the Willamette Greenway overlay zone, the applicant has selected again to provide that wider buffer as a mitigation measure. The Greenway chapter requires, where practical, that public access to and along the Willamette River by easement, dedicated right-of-way, or other legal means be provided. The Salem Comprehensive Parks System Master Plan identifies a shared use path in the vicinity of this property. So to provide for future public recreational access and use, the applicant is required to dedicate a public easement along the western portion of the subject property adjacent to the river. So you'll recall we had that unimproved right-of-way, the idea being that a pathway could be provided and may swing across the portion of the property. And it looks like there is some public right-of-way between this property and the river that could be used for that future trail. The Willamette or the Greenway chapter requires all buildings and structures to be screened, colored, and surfaced so as to blend in with the riparian area. So colors shall be natural earth and leaf tones. Now the application materials indicate the building materials and colors that are selected for the buildings, and that includes white paint. Staff is recommending a condition of approval requiring the applicant to select a different color in the green or brown palette that would be more appropriate with the natural environment. And the applicant is requesting a lot consolidation. So there's an old subdivision plat that includes 3.5 lots for the property here. Now, to develop the 4-family use, the applicant needs to consolidate these to remove these lot lines to make this an allowed use for the site. The staff has provided an analysis for the replat in the staff report. The resulting lots, consolidated lot, would conform with our lot size and dimension requirements for the IC zone. And we included a condition in here that the final plat for the replat be recorded prior to issuance of the building permits. And again, we didn't receive any comments from Highland or written public comments during the comment period. We did receive comments from the Salem Keizer Public School District. The full memo was included as an attachment to the staff report. So staff is recommending that the hearings officer approve the application with the recommended conditions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't really have any questions for you tonight, Erin. That's very complete. Would the applicant like to make a presentation? You don't have to if you don't want to, but you can.
No, I mean, we're happy. I'm very happy with the city's observation of the importance of the greenway and the native plants, and the color palette is no problem. I'll take white out. These are all things I love about Salem, and which is why I've exceeded some of your minimal recommendations for native plants, native trees, butterfly habitat, organic maintenance when possible. And we'll work with, is it Milo? Mylan? What's his name? The tree? Your new
Mylan is our urban forester, yes.
So we've had a few conversations about what's native and appropriate. And, you know, I'm just thrilled to have this opportunity to put these skills down. And thank you, Erin. You did a really nice job.
Thank you.
We'll make it very beautiful.
Well, I think it's, an amenity both for the people living there and for people who will be maybe using the right of way along the river. And that's kind of that goal, is both to and from the Greenway. So it's a nice proposal, and it looks like everything will come together on that. Now, what I will say is the public hearing's not over, and the applicant has an opportunity to provide a final written argument if you want to do that.
No, I wouldn't care to do that.
Okay.
I will concede the white paint. It was a white plaster and it isn't used in very many places. And we'll just substitute a brown or a green color in the same kind of material. So we've tried to keep it very natural, tried to kind of have it look as though it had been there a long time. Kind of nested in the vegetation, architecturally not overly modern, kind of in keeping with the character of the earlier buildings that were there before they fell down. So we have brick, we have, the clay roofing material and rock and the white, we haven't had green or brown paint we've had it for a while, but not longer than about 60 years.
Okay.
So there was a time when everyone's house was white. So I was just trying to do that kind of treatment there, but it doesn't show too much. And without the white strip around the windows, it will almost be invisible, I think.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So if that's the goal, then we're set.
That's kind of the goal. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the public hearing. We don't have anybody else who's going to testify tonight. I don't really have any further questions. I thought the staff report did the normal, thorough, and comprehensive job. I'm going to follow the staff recommendation. This is going to be approved with the conditions as recommended by staff. So I'll thank you for being here tonight. That's part of the public process. And the written decision will be out within 2 weeks, certainly.
Oh, that's wonderful, Jim. Thank you. We've really appreciated working with Aaron. He helped us through some problem areas and he did it very well.
And they don't show up in the staff report at all. It looks like this was just a breeze for everybody.
Well, it was for me, but not for Aaron.
Oh no, this is fun. I'm glad to see the project at this point. You guys did
Thank you,
good.
Aaron. Good.
Okay.
Well, I'll welcome all of your recommendations as we go along. I'm an old Salem resident. We've been here since the beginning of time, and my interest is, I've done a couple Greenway design proposals for Chuck when he was working on streetscape and things. I'm a professional garden designer and happy to welcome any of your suggestions or volunteer on any of your projects that are similar, or where you'd like to introduce native material or restore native material. I think that would be of big interest to me, and I'd be happy to volunteer. And you can make that decision after you see it finished.
Well, what we'll do is we'll let you and Aaron have that discussion offline, and we'll go ahead and close the hearing for tonight. This is the only piece of business we had. So with that, we're also going to close the meeting. Thank you for showing up, and we'll just wrap things up. Zachary, I hope you're feeling better.
No.
Thank you.
Oh, no, that's who that was. It couldn't talk.
Good night.